All right, let's get practicing in QuickBooks Online. Grab the link below in the description so that you can follow along. All right, here we are in the QBO Gym. And the QBO Gym is a place where we have numerous exercises that simulate real life scenarios that you may encounter as a bookkeeper. Every single month, we come out with new exercises for you to practice and complete, and we break it down for you into 4 different sections. So today, we are going to be working in the October Strength Training section where we really focus on sales tax. At the top here is a little animated video to give you a synopsis of what you're going to be doing for Craig that month. He is our fictitious business owner. Further down is an interactive quiz to test your knowledge based off of what you just saw up above. And then further down are all of the exercises within this section. So today we are going to practice investigating sales tax liability. You will need to be in the same session of the sample company that you were in the previous exercises. If you have not completed those yet, go ahead and click on the link on the top right corner of your screen. That'll take you to the first exercise. Complete that one and all the ones following until you get back to this one. So our scenario today is that Craig is considering purchasing some equipment, but he wants to make sure that he's not going to be hit with a big sales tax bill. He wants to know if you can look this up for him. So let's see how we would do this. Each time you collect sales tax from a customer, it's the amount is being held in a sales tax liability account, kind of like the way checks are held in an undeposited funds. It's just a holding place until you actually pay the sales tax bill. So you can see the current value of the sales tax liability by running a balance sheet report. So to do that, we need to get into the reports center. We need to, on the left-hand nav bar, click on reports. And then when we get there, we just select balance sheet. So here I am in the sample company. This is the last page that I left off of from the previous exercise. Over here on the left-hand side, it says reports. Go ahead and click on that. And when the report center pulls up, you want to go ahead and click on balance sheet under favorites. And the report will be run for you. So while there are other ways that you can view your tax liability or what you owe, the nice thing about the balance sheet is that here you can see all other balances as well. For example, since Craig uses accrual accounting versus cash basis, he can see what other bills he has to pay in the accounts payable account. You can also see the loans that are on the books and the current balance that is in his checking account. So this gives him a total picture so he's better able to make a decision about the equipment. We're going to scroll down in the balance sheet until we get to the line that says Board of Equalization Payable and click on the number right there for it. So you will see liability assets are at the top here, and then liabilities and equity are down below. Under current liabilities, you will see this line that says Board of Equalization Payable. We're going to go ahead and click on the number that is right there. Your number may be slightly different depending on when you are doing this. If you just know that the number is not as important as the process of what we are doing here. So this report that just pulled up is the transaction drill down report, and it lists every transaction that makes up the number that we just clicked on. Here you can see the amount of the sales tax for each transaction. You can even see the total liability reduce when a sales tax payment is being made. So note that if you are paying multiple taxes, they will be listed separately, even if it's being paid to the same agency. So let's see here is a good example. Here's that sales tax payment that was made. It's showing up as a negative, so you can see the amount that was paid during that. And then there's another one right here, this Amy's Bird Sanctuary. This is the one that we had just created. It has broken it down into different amounts of the taxes based off of what agency or what it's actually for. But it should, I believe, equal that $26, and I can't remember the cents for that exercise. But in this report, know that even though this was all on the same invoice, the same transaction, it's being broken down separately. So that's the nice thing about this report. But what you can't see on this report is how much the total bill was and how much the total bill was taxable. Remember, in our scenario, the products were taxed, but services were exempt. That was in our particular example. And so for that, we need to run a sales tax liability report. While we could do that from the report center, it's also accessible directly in the sales tax center. So let's go over there so that you can see how you can run it there versus just doing it here in the report center. To get to that, you need to, on the left-hand nav bar, hover over taxes and then select sales tax. So on this left-hand side, again, we're going to hover over taxes and then select sales tax to get to the sales tax center. And here you can see this should be familiar to you. This is what we looked at with our one of the previous exercises, getting this all set up. So here you have Arizona and California. And as you can see, this California one has $26.13. That was from Amy's Bird Sanctuary that we did in the previous exercise. So the tiles in the sales tax center are helpful because they show you how much has been accumulated in each period. As we mentioned, that $26.13. But that's just for the current period. And while we can scroll through the list underneath to see individual periods, there is no grand total here. And so if we click on the small reports dropdown and select tax liability report, we can run that report and see that. It's also called that sales tax liability if you ran it from the report center. So let's go ahead and do that by clicking on that little down arrow here. And you can click on a tax liability report. And when you do, a report is going to be run for you. And this has it broken down by Arizona and then California, and then a little bit more detail in each one. This was that Arizona tax, this Tucson city, and then even though they're going to the same agency. And then these are the ones that are based on location, and then this is the custom one that we had created before. So we not the one that we had created, the one that we had used before. Sorry about that. The sales tax liability report shows all of the tax that has accrued during the selected period. Note that the report period, which is currently showing as this year to date for the report, is not the same as the reporting filing period or frequency that you had set up with the agency. Remember, one of the agencies was monthly and the other one was quarterly. So because this report is just showing the total accumulated totals, it will not change when you make a period or a payment, not a period. This report shows the total of the invoices that included sales tax, how much the total was taxable, how much was not taxable, and then the amount of tax collected. So you can click on any of the numbers in the report to see the transactions that make up that particular number. We're just going to go ahead and look at the one that's California. And again, that's that custom rate that we had used in the previous transactions. So we're going to click on the tax amount in the California row. Just remember that your numbers may be a little bit different than what I have here. And if that's the case, it's okay. It's not about the numbers as much as it is about the process in this exercise. So go ahead and click, California is that last one there. Go ahead and click on the tax amount number for California. And you will see how it breaks down for you when you click into it. This report is similar to the drill down report that we saw when we had clicked on it in the balance sheet. However, this time we can actually see the tax rate, the tax amount, and the amount of the invoice that was taxable. If you ever wanted to view the actual invoice from here, you can do that by simply clicking on the invoice number. And that is right here. If you ever wanted to get more information based off of what you are seeing here, tax rate, tax amount, and then the taxable amount. And that's it. That's how you would investigate a little bit more about sales tax liability. And if you have any questions or want to know more about the QBO Gym, just go ahead and click on the link below in the description. Be sure to leave this session of the sample company open as you will need it for the next exercise in the strength training section where we practice making a customer tax exempt. And I will see you in the next video.